Hello, everybody. I'd like to introduce you to our webinar about the Epson F2100 DTG printer, and basically an overview of why we think this is a solid business decision to pursue, and it's a lot more cost efficient than a lot of people think. So if there's the idea behind this is basically if you ever thought about getting into creating t-shirts and want to get into that kind of business, or maybe you own a screen printing shop and getting more customized requests, which is kind of really a growing market over the years of people wanting more customizable apparel, a lot of personalization stuff, in groups and things of that nature, and wanted a device that can actually create this, create that, for your customers. And then the F2100 DTG printer is a perfect printer for that process. But not only t-shirts, but you can get anything really into cotton or tri-blends and even some polyester materials. You're talking about caps, ball caps, to socks, to tote bags, to even now face mask is a very thing that really has come up and rised up as far as popularity as far as using it on DTG. And the beauty about the DTG printer, there's so many different platens you can put on there to do these different garments. But there are other components you need to get for this printer to make it right, like a pre-treat, some kind of pre-treat solution, and a heat press. But really, the idea behind this is try to kind of ease minds out there to show that, get into a F2100 DTG printer is easier than you think, and the process is easier than most people think. And really, when you kind of break it down on the cost and everything, if you have a market, you have a good, solid ground, start off with, and that you can get your return of your investment back in a pretty short while. So and I forgot to introduce, my name is Matt. I'm the head of the inkjet team here at Imaging Spectrum, and I've got my head tech guy Zach Jones, who will be leading this webinar today. So definitely we'll go through everything. You can have the chat button if you got any questions. We'll try to answer on the fly. And definitely we'll leave it open for Q&A at the end, so you can have any solid questions there. We can get back to you as well. And we are just kind of let you know, we are an Epson Solution Center here in Texas. We are open, for demos. We do have a demo printer here. If you want to come in and check it out, you want to bring a file, see what it's all about, we are totally open for that. But with that said, I will give it to Zach, and Zach, you take it away.
Excellent. All right, thanks, guys. Like Matt said, he really summed it up quite well today. We're going to go over some of the traditional options, kind of expanding beyond maybe the traditional methods of printing to your normal cotton tees. And then at the end, we're going to bring it back to Matt, and he's going to give us a really good breakdown on your return on investment here. So, and I really do encourage you guys, I want this to be kind of an open discussion. We are going to open it for Q&A at the end, but really this is just to kind of get everything rolling, get some ideas in the head, and maybe hopefully expand your offerings, which always is what we're looking for here, increase the business. So let's start with, I'm hoping here, just a quick crash course that you guys understand the basics. I'm really not going to go over much of the technical side today. If you do guys need any of that, as Vincent has posted here, you can go to imagingspectrum.com/training, and all of our old videos will be on there. And of course, if you need a little bit of a crash course, you can always call one-on-one, and any of us will be here happy to talk to you and kind of explain the process. But assuming you understand, there's pre-treat laid down, which is your basic glue. Heat is applied, you're printing to it, and then you're applying that heat once again to cure the image. So let's just assume that's kind of hopefully understood there. And then we're going to jump into more of what we're covering today. So opportunities, right? I know with everything going on out there, it's not the best time in the world. But that being said, I think there's definitely some serious pockets of opportunities that have risen, as Matt has mentioned before. We're going to talk a little bit more about trends. I know following trends in social media is not always the most fun thing in the world, but I can definitely tell you guys that it's a huge help to the business and just getting your name out there and letting people know what you do offer. We're going to go a little bit beyond maybe your typical, 100% cotton or tri-blend t-shirts. I'm going to talk a little bit about maybe some wood, maybe some canvas. Hopefully you guys know that pretty much any majority cotton and cotton poly blend is really on the table. We're going to talk about some natural fibers as well, just to really showcase what this machine can print onto. Of course, I want to talk about scalability, as you start with one machine, as your need arises, growing this to 3, 4, 5, a 6 level fleet. And then of course, some Q&As and kind of seeing, I want to show you guys a few kind of cool things we've been testing out here. So let's jump in. First, probably one of the most important things is the value proposition. And, I know this is not your first rodeo for some of you guys out there, but for those of you who do, need a little bit more of an understanding of where this kind of falls in the market, your turnaround times, right? We're talking really a 5-minute turnaround time. Let's just say I already have my pre-treated shirt ready to go. They can be standing in the lobby, and 5 minutes later, they could be handing you, their paycheck, the payment there. The other thing that's really popular with this is it doesn't matter if we're doing 1 color or 1 million colors, literally. And I know that sounds outrageous, but that is the truth. We can really hit any, anything 5, 10, 1,000 colors, not a problem for us. Again, small batch, I know, 1,000 security t-shirts might not be the ideal application for this, but you can imagine knocking out, 1,000 of those security t-shirts. You could do 100 high-end boutique small batch runs and hit the same profit, if not higher profit margins. Personalization, and I think this is probably something we've all noticed lately. I'm going to kind of go into the masks thing here for a bit, and everyone wants to be, and it's understandably so, a little bit unique, have something that really shows off their personality, shows off what they're into, their pet's face, friends, family, whatever it might be. So we need to kind of understand that we can take advantage of that and use it to really cater to these more specific markets. The adjustable quality of this machine. I know, and I will tell you, we've done enough demos here. I know everyone wants to see, oh man, give me the brightest, most vibrant everything. But let's be honest here, the vintage look is in. We do not always have to max out, our white underbase and our colors. We can really kind of subdue those, create something a little bit more interesting and potentially intriguing for a different customer. Multiple market segments here as well, which kind of ties in with the beyond the t-shirt. So let's just say, we're going to dive into this some more, but prime example, you knock out a couple t-shirts, they find out that you can do a few hats. Hey, next thing you know, you've got 10 hats added onto your order utilizing that same machine there. So take advantage of the versatility as well. Let's start with a little bit of the potential. Some of the, some of the people that are out there, some of the businesses, some of the people we can cater to. And definitely feel free to chime in if you guys have any great ideas. I just want to kind of kick it off with, shop local, mom and pop local, especially lately. It goes twofold. A, you're supporting your local economy. B, you are now one of the members of those local. They understand that you are here to help them and you're a part of their community as well. And I really do feel that goes a long way. Commercial is obviously a great avenue as well. When we start talking commercial, we can start maybe bringing in some tunnel dryers, multiple units, and things of that nature. Boutique, which is, I think, a fantastic area. I think that's really one of the best places that these DTG printers fall into. A, we need a high quality blank to start with because that is really going to give us the best results. So we're already starting with quality material that feels great, that people want to wear. Combine that with a little bit of personalization, customization, and you just took your $3, $5 blank up to a $35, $40 print there. So very, very cool market. I know it sometimes can be tough to break into, but I tell people, it's finding that niche. And sometimes breadth is not always the way to go. I mean, yes, we do have a lot of options, but kind of finding out where your segment hits and what's best for you is always highly encouraged. Fulfillment, that's another big opportunity that we're seeing out there. A lot of people are maybe they're already coming from a screen printing background and maybe they just need, hey, I'm getting these one-off orders from my Etsy account or maybe my Amazon store, something of that nature. You can always fulfill those as needed, and that's a universal, countrywide thing. You can be getting, bids and stuff from who knows, Maryland, New York, California, and with the fulfillment, we're able to take care of that stuff in-house, ship it out to them, and make a pretty decent profit on that one. Schools. I think that's a pretty known one there. And just for those who haven't thought about the school route, getting into it, and it's more than just doing the school logo. Band's a separate program. There's after school programs. You can see I have kind of your basics. Could have your after school art program that has certain criteria, and maybe they want to show off their own artwork that they have created there. So both a cool way to engage some of the students and the faculty, and really just everyone just kind of on board. I think when people kind of all come together with that team spirit, I don't know, there's something in the air, and I think it really does lend itself to a positive environment. Branding, fast fashion. If you guys haven't heard these before, branding, I'm sure you know, fast fashion is kind of following the trends. What's on right now? Fleece, that's kind of the big thing right now. So, am I going to start diving into some of the fleece market? That kind of thing. And then know your keywords. And this goes a little bit back. We're actually going to talk a little bit more about this here in a second, but know your keywords. Understand what people need to search for. What are they typing in? What are they, what comes to mind so that they can find your shop and your quality work a little bit easier. Real quick, just because I do get this fairly often, and I know, not all of us are, 4 or 8-year degree graphic designers out there. So a lot of the times we're, excellent when it comes to handling the hardware. We do our cleanings, we have everything prepped, our settings, but at the end of the day, if we're not using decent, solid artwork, we're really kind of fighting against ourselves. So I just want to throw a few of these out here. If you guys have any questions on art, we can always go down that road too. We can talk one-on-one. My personal preference, obviously, if you can, create your own is always the best. You have full control, full color control. Learning something like Photoshop and Illustrator, I know can be kind of daunting at first, but I will tell you, that's a universal skill set that you can use across this entire industry. So whether you're maybe you start switching into the solvent market, sublimation market, you need to know how to create these cut lines. Well, having a base knowledge of creating artwork, or at least manipulating some artwork, is going to be a huge, huge thing for you guys. And I know some people out there might struggle with some graphics sometimes, but these are some great resources to really kind of dive deep into, and without having to have that 4-year degree, still get unbelievably quality output. And I want to kind of mention this Canva thing, kind of a new thing. Epson has kind of partnered with them a little bit, and if you're kind of new to it, it really is a nice way of kind of holding your hand as you create some artwork. It's got pre-built-in templates. It's got a few pieces that we can use to kind of create different elements and different designs using those too. So Etsy is obviously a popular one. And I don't know, you guys, if anyone's kind of watched YouTube lately, you probably might be seeing some of these Fiverr videos, but Fiverr actually is a pretty impressive resource, kind of utilizing the talent pool that's out there. You can go all the way up to pro, but I've seen $20 artwork, and I've seen unbelievable design work. So don't think you have to break the bank to get great input for great output. Great Dane Graphics, I do want to mention them real quick as well. We partner with them, and they have a fantastic DTG printing book that I strongly encourage anyone who is manipulating their own artwork or working with a designer. It really just gives you a good foundation to understand, and B, a language to kind of talk in. That way you can kind of say, hey, no, not more than just this purple is not bright. We have a little bit more of a control over that. So great resource if you guys want to dive into more of the art side. It's called Artwork for DTG Printing, and that's by Great Dane Graphics, and we will always be able to get those over to you if needed. Etsy, I know this is probably not new to anyone out there, but Etsy Creative Market's one of my personal favorites. But Etsy's very similar, tons of options out there. We can get going right off the bat. So let's kind of get back into a little bit of, kind of getting your business out there and trying to get that traction to really kind of kick things off. I don't know if anyone out there has maybe heard of Google Trends before, but it's a really cool resource just to kind of see what's the pulse of the people, what's kind of out there, what's hip right now, what's what's popular. Is it the new new game? Is it the new movie that's out? Is there something that is culturally relevant, socially relevant, current events? All that stuff translates into money making opportunities. And now where you guys can stand ahead of the crowd is, when these events do come up, or when these, random moments pop, you can immediately go over to your machine, have your artwork prepped, create something there that is ready almost same day, if not same day, for delivery to customers who are already begging and looking forward to those type of things. I do like to talk about this because I feel like it's an underutilized technique, but I have definitely seen some really cool work, and this is another way to take your $3 blank and really bring it into the $40, $50, maybe even higher world. Combining techniques such as, let's say, embroidery, or maybe you're putting rhinestones on top of a DTG print. Maybe you want the eyes to pop, so you have some kind of silver vinyl. Who knows? There's so many options out there. And I'm going to show you guys a little bit of that here in a minute too. Again, I know I've said this a million times, but it does allow versatility, and I don't want you guys to limit yourself to just tees. Jean jackets, that's a great one too. You can start using these higher end products and increase your margins significantly. Like I said before, following these cultural trends, social trends, we can have a moment's notice. It can be immediate personalization. I can take the most culturally relevant thing, put your name on it, and you'll be happy as it can be. And then of course scalability, which is always something I do want to kind of just leave in the back of your brain there, that as your production increases, grabbing multiple of these machines. Some people have, let's just say, one of these machines dedicated solely to shoe production, while their other machine might be dedicated to t-shirt production. And that goes twofold as well. I know maybe having a big fast machine, and it's a great thing as well, but I will tell you the only downside is if one machine does go down, that does kind of leave you in the dust a bit. So scalability kind of goes both ways. A, it increases the products and the amount you can offer, but it also gets you a backup, so you're never down when the time comes. Just to kind of throw this at you guys, this is just a small offering of stuff that just kind of came to my head, but all of this can be completely utilized for your DTG printer there. The reason I put natural fibers up top there is for maybe those who want to kind of explore a little bit further, kind of find out what is the natural fibers out there. What is this material made out of? Is it something I can print onto? I've definitely done my fair share of just walking through a Hobby Lobby, Joann's, and saying, okay, I see that's majority cotton, or just kind of look at the different materials, and hey, it doesn't hurt to at least try it. And I can tell you everything on this list right here is absolutely fantastic on a direct-to-garment machine. So I was actually just doing some wood testing very recently, and I was just blown away. It's really cool. And again, something I don't think many people would really think of when they think of direct-to-garment printers, but hey, it's an absolutely viable option. Let's talk about media handling a little bit. So I guess, the t-shirts are not the most thick thing in the world, but let's just say this is a great example. I was doing a canvas print the other day on a pre-wrapped canvas. No pre-treat laid down, no nothing. I just did a light print, and it was like a portrait. So actually, I think I have that here. So you can see, so I put this directly. What I did for this one is I printed on a level 1 onto my Platen, just to see exactly where the image is going to fall. Very, very cheap print. From there, I lined up my canvas, bumped up my settings to where I needed them, and printed right to it. And hopefully, I know the quality here in the screen might be a little different, but it's a really fantastic print, high quality, high grade, great color accuracy, very cheap. I'm not laying down any white ink. So another cool option. Some people might want a small canvas of the family or something to go with their garment. Hey, why not offer it if you have the ability? Specialty Platens, if you're doing things like koozies, that's definitely a great option. One of my personal favorite Platens out there is called the 8 Up by Livingston. So you can do 8 shirts, 8 sleeves, you can do 8 koozies, you can do inside tag prints with it, and it really increases your production. So you don't have to do that one shirt at a time, take it off, rinse and repeat. Just kind of a cool thing I've seen before too is creating a cut sheet for your lineup. So there is a grid in the software, and really all the grid is a 1-inch by 1-inch square. So basically across the board. So for your 14 by 16 Platen, you could create your own, 14 by 16 squares, and then you would know exactly when you place that template over top exactly where that print's going to fall. Like if you're doing maybe like a pocket tee or something like that. And of course, if you really dive deep into that stuff, it might be best to actually have, a particular Platen for that type of good. Last, I want to talk about the custom background images. Let's just say you start getting into some more of these different goods and things that are out there. Obviously we don't need a t-shirt in the background to kind of show that. So, and we can always help you that. We can create custom backgrounds for you, or you can create your own based off the material you're printing on, just to get a little bit of a better idea of the look before you finally hit that print button. And I know you guys all know this, there's light and dark presets, but something like this onto a white canvas, I did straight up light preset. I think I did a level 3 print, came out fantastic. So don't think you have to always lay down a ton of ink or anything like that. Another really cool one, like I said, we were experimenting recently here with these. You know, wood, and see, the thing with wood is that you can pre-treat it. You can lay the white base down if needed, or I can just put these right under my machine, you know, have my custom prints, custom logos. You can see here, signage, marriage, all that kind of fun stuff. So a lot of really cool options that I don't think are usually at the forefront of this machine. I want to go into kind of the options here. Oh, and I just saw that. Great question, Jason. As Keith said right there is a sensor. And so one of the cool things about this is before we hit that print, we can always send the material, whatever it may be, shirt, canvas, hat, back, and check to make sure that nothing is going to hit. And then once we're good, once that beep subsides, we are good to go. And we can just leave that there, save those settings. So that way in the future, if I come back to that same, let's say canvas, I know, oh, I'm going to drop it to a level 5, and we'll keep it there. I know I do want to kind of just throw this back out there again. This is kind of more of a kind of recap a little bit, but you know, we want you to be able to expand your offerings. So hopefully you can see here, I've got polyester masks, cotton masks. That 49 is a solid polyester Gildan t-shirt, light color prints, dark color prints, hat prints, canvas. I've got wood that's not included in here as well, but so you can imagine, right? There's a lot of ways that we can really start marketing this stuff. One thing that I think is a really cool thing that I've seen, especially in the local communities, are what I kind of call these care packages. So yeah, you know, you might come back and say, hey, here's a mask, but guess what? You know, I've also got a couple of t-shirts for you guys, and then that just might light the fire right there and say, hey, well, you're not only are my mask guy, but you're now my t-shirt guy. And well, guess what? I need a couple hats for my guys, and you've got that covered as well. So really kind of, and you know, might have heard the term loss leader before, where let's just say my mask, and I can tell you it's a very cheap print, small. You know, we're really not breaking the bank on that one. So it could be, hey, you know, you pay this certain price for your t-shirt, and I'm going to throw in a free mask with it to match. And that can be the incentive that'll take you, you know, beyond the competition there. And like I said, I think combining options is a really cool idea. We're seeing a lot of fundraisers, you know, giveaways to kind of get the brand out there. And then from there, you know, people start calling back and say, hey, I saw this shirt, it was great, and can I get another in this configuration? So hopefully you guys are understanding what I'm saying here is really just making sure that we get everything kind of going properly. So community love, you know, as I said, I'm definitely, the keep it local I think is an awesome thing. You know, we're all in this together. So at the end of the day, let's all kind of help each other out where we can. This is really cool, and I came across this the other day, and I wanted to share with everybody to really kind of show you where we can kind of do this mixed media, where we kind of combine multiple items together. So we have mixed media here. So right here you can see a direct-to-garment print that was done directly to the t-shirt. It's really cool. So you can see just kind of, you know, a little outline of the letters there. Throw the hoop on there, throw a little embroidery behind it, and now we've just really stepped up our game with the combination here. So I can hit those 50+ colors with my DTG printer, and then I can knock out the rest of that finesse with something like an embroidery machine. Or if I want to take it a step further, maybe I can even make that beach, or maybe some of those leaves, you know, a vinyl or something like that, just to, again, to stand out from the crowd, to really kind of make yourself above just, oh, hey, laying down some ink on a shirt. Sublimation, just because it's such a popular thing too. Now, unfortunately with sublimation, we can't really dive too much into the cotton world. However, you know, if you're working with something, maybe a blend, you can have that kind of vintage faded look and maybe have something over top of that. So just a few options that are out there. And cut and sew, and I know this is not really talked about a whole lot in the direct-to-garment world. I think the majority of people want to get rid of the cut and sew, so they go that route. But I do want to let you know that if you're doing small runs of fabric, maybe say you're doing some mass prints, you know, you can print directly to a 14 or 16 by 20 swatch of fabric. And have that to cut and sew for something like masks, maybe some baby clothes, you know, maybe some of the smaller items and goods that can kind of take that to the next level. And like I said, you know, just because we definitely deal with the eco-solvent printing, the heat transfer vinyl side of things as well. If that's something that I know a lot of people usually kind of start off with, so don't think that you can't still combine some of your vinyl offerings, maybe some of the colors we can't hit, like some of the silvers and the golds and things of that nature. So hopefully that's, you know, giving you some ideas to kind of take it to that next level, if you will. And then this is for everyone who wants to kind of do a little bit of exploring beyond this. Let's see, you know, this is a chart right here. So you can kind of see manufactured, which is going to kind of be our polyesters versus our natural fibers, like you guys are probably used to with the, you know, the cotton, that kind of material. And so this is just a small chart, but I want you guys to kind of start thinking about, wow, you know, this does have a certain amount of content in it that I can take care of. So maybe this is something that I can at least try, and who knows, if it hits, it might hit hard, and it might be one of your new top offerings. So really just want you guys to see this because there's a little bit more than just the cotton that's out there for us. Tri-blends I put in there just because they're one of my favorite particular blends of shirts, and they print fantastic. For those of you who didn't know, some people see tri-blends, they're like, well, there's poly and ran, that's not going to work. Tri-blends are fantastic. I definitely love them. Like I said, the natural fibers, higher end blanks is something I've seen recently as well. Bella, I don't know if you guys ever kind of check out some of their stuff, but they're really great as far as following the trends, having a decent price for their blanks, and actually offering something that the wearer wants to wear. That not only do they want to wear it because of your customization to it, but the shirts feel great, they're hip, they're within the social norm, if you will, the cool, the hip stuff. And of course, I always talk about samples. I strongly encourage you guys just to run at least a sample or two. Sometimes your first go, your settings might not be exactly where you want it. So that doesn't mean that it's a be all end all. That means that, hey, maybe we just need to reduce the white, or maybe I don't need any white ink laid down. So there's a few options. So don't get discouraged at first. It's definitely something we can make happen. And then of course, when you have that set properly, you save those presets and you are good to go from then on. As long as you're keeping your machine well taken care of, running your nozzle checks, doing your head cleanings, you just pop that preset on and you will be right where you left off last time. So I'm going to pass it over really quick here to Matt, and he's really great with this. This is going to be kind of the return on investment. And if you guys have any more questions at the end, we can definitely talk about pricing and different materials and things like that. But I want to let Matt take over real quick because he definitely got this stuff down.
Hey, thanks, Zach. And I did forget to mention at the beginning that Keith Prado is on the line as well. He's a head tech guy for Epson. So definitely, if you have any questions on any of this, or if you own a DTG printer, maybe have some questions, you got a good source right here, to ask, along with Zach as well. But anyways, for those who might be new, maybe looking to get into the DTG business, a lot of it is, trying to figure out as a business plan as your return of investment goes. And, it is an investment, and that's what I tell most of my customers before coming in. But it could be a very quick return of that investment if you are doing, like, you have a pretty solid ground starting out, have maybe a group of people you're already starting to sell shirts to, or maybe you're tied into a school or some other kind of group that able to start from there and kind of grow from there. So anyways, this is kind of a breakout of a spreadsheet that kind of have created kind of on our own here, that we're going to break out into a few parts. The first one being is what the requirements are to get into this business. And usually three main components, being the DTG printer, a pre-treat machine, and a heat press. And so what I listed here is the current price of the Epson F2100 DTG printer at $13,995. That's after a $3,000 instant rebate. I've listed the Zoom pre-treat. That is, we sell other pre-treat machines, but that is our top one as far as just reliability, durability, just spot on consistency as far as pre-treat goes, real industrial, spray nozzles and all that. Very reliable machine that you can't go wrong. And some of those, we do have some lower price ones that do well too, but I put that on there as for this example. And then a standard 16 by 20 heat press from Geonite. So all in all, you're probably looking around about a $20,000 investment at first. Now, what we factor in is to start off with, maybe doing 500 shirts per month, and 100 light shirts, and then 400 dark shirts, which I think dark shirts are more, popular. But this is assuming off a light shirt being sold at $15, and the dark shirt, being sold at $20. I mean, you could definitely sell dark shirts higher. You can be 25 up to sometimes $40 sometimes, light shirts as well. But we're just kind of putting that number in there. and we're factoring in a blank shirt, which averages out mostly, getting blank shirts, whether, a lot of brands out there, they're about $3. They sometimes are less, but it could be that average $3. And then we kind of, put in some hourly labor costs. Maybe you got some, people on your team that is helping you out to do pressing, the pre-treat and all that stuff at about $15 right there. And then we move on to the next slide. So basically, that's kind of your startup cost there, but factor that in, it's kind of hard to see. I've got a whole spreadsheet on this that you can see it all in full. And there is a link that will provide, that you can go check this the spreadsheet out. And average price per shirt comes out to be $92, and that's factoring in the light and dark shirts together combined. When you combine the doing that 500 shirts a month, your monthly sales off that figure is $9,500. Now your the operating costs there, we take in averages of what you're going as far as average cost of doing a light shirt, average cost with pre-treat. Doing a dark shirt that comes about those average, amounts of over our experience of doing tons and tons of examples. You see, and then factor in ink as well. Ink is not, it's not as much, cost going into these shirts. So total light shirt cost being $3.75, and total dark shirt cost is $5.25. It can vary sometimes. A dark shirt can be about $7, $8 sometimes, depending on if you got a lot of color in there. Maybe using a lot more white, but typically it's about a $5 to $6 total shirt cost for a dark, and that's including your cost of your shirt plus the inks that are being laid down there. And then factoring in kind of an average maintenance cost that we've kind of found in standards. And that's, just a monthly thing. You might maybe some overhead or something like that, about $9,200 there. So you factor in when that's factoring in, it's about $2,500, monthly cost. But really, when you kind of break it out, using that on a 500 shirt per month period, you're going to get your money back on that $20,000 investment in about 3 months. And that's about, close to 1,500, number of shirts to break even. And you kind of see your breakdown of your profit there as you go along. And in a 1 year time, if you stick with it, you can really grow your business and get to a good profit, level. And after 3 months, especially doing 500 shirts, I mean, that's a pretty quick turnaround. Now, give or take, you might start off with 100 shirts a month or 200. The beauty thing about this spreadsheet I've created, which I can share out, and I'll give you the link. You can plug in any number that fits to your business, and it will change. It will change it, on the fly. And so it might take 6 months, but still, the idea behind this is that really it is a pretty quick turnaround. Some people think, oh, it's been years before I make my money back, but really, if you got a $20,000 investment with all the right components, you can ideally, in a few months, get your money back, and after that, everything's profit. Is there another slide? I forgot. Okay. Oh, hey, there it is. Yeah. So there it is in a whole. Let's see. And let me look at it. So that's it in a whole, where all the numbers we kind of broke out a little bit there. And if you want to see, I'll go back to that slide, Zach, real quick. So basically, if you can plug your numbers in. Let's say you get a pre-treat for less price, or maybe a heat press or something like that, or maybe you already got a heat press. You can factor that out, and then you can plug that number in, and then kind of see what might suit for your business. So we have this spreadsheet. It's on our website. It's imagingspectrum.com/training/. And so I'll put that out there. But anyways, but you can go retrieve that spreadsheet yourself and just plug in the numbers and see what makes sense for you.
Excellent, guys. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Matt's a great resource when it comes to kind of finding that breakdown and everything. So, call in if you have questions, and we can help you on both the technical side and, of course, the sales side as well. So, I want to open everything up. So that's kind of let me jump over to the chat here. If you guys want to start throwing some questions at us, we'll answer them here real time. Oh, thanks, Matt. Yep, Jason. Yep, Matt's right there. I'll pull back that slide if you guys want to just look at it briefly here. And I think Keith already answered it with the dry fit, and that's 100%. Unfortunately, with the moisture wicking, since it is water-based ink, I don't want to say no, but it definitely is going to require a little bit of testing and some trial and error.
And I will have to add, if this being new from the start off, it is a learning curve. Everything's on this is a learning curve. But man, once you get that system down and once you get it dialed in, as far as your pre-treat's going to be the key thing, really, to making all of this work. And once you get the pre-treat down and you got your right levels as far as the garment creator goes, and after that, I mean, it's it's a pretty fast and nice workflow. And it starts growing from there. So we've seen customers just have no clue going in, and with this printer, and then a year from now they're doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm. And I want to piggyback off something Matt was saying there too. For those of you who don't know, the Garment Creator software it's free, so basically anyone can download it and play around with it. At the end of the day, it's a pretty darn powerful program that's fairly easy to learn. I think at the end of the day, kind of knowing how to tweak your settings, increase densities here and there, and things of that nature. And then you can always save those settings too. So like Matt said, with a little bit of trial and error up front, normally we can dial those in and kind of have everything ready to run. And just like Matt Keith said right there, thank you, Mac or PC as well, which is a great thing because I know a lot of people love to do their editing and design work on the Mac. So keep everything in the same ecosystem there. Any other questions, guys? And I don't know if you guys were curious about maybe some of the pre-treat process on some of those materials. Sometimes it's good to have like a spray bottle or something like that to actually be able to kind of coat these smaller materials. I do that for like my hats, some of my masks. If I need to do a canvas or I need to put down some white ink, I might do that as well. But of course, having a pre-treat machine is definitely handy, as I can just put that in there, hit my start button, have my perfect saturation set, and kind of just keep trucking along there. So. Jason, great question. And actually, you know what, you are very much on the right path there. And this is particularly the machine that was built for what you're saying. And it's for those one-off shirts. So what happens is, and that's not knowing your business, it could be one of those things where, you're a screen printer, you're knocking out, let's just say, a couple hundred, maybe 1,000 shirts. In the middle of that, though, someone says, oh, by the way, I need to get a personalization for that. And so what we can do with this machine is knock it out. Give me about 3 or 5 minutes, and I can get that one-off shirt done during the day. And that's kind of why this machine is the right machine, I feel. It's not going to be your high volume printing, but I will say, for your one-offs, this is exactly what the machine was designed for. 100 color shirt, personalized with a name, a logo, front, back, whatever you might need. It's all doable within under 10 minutes there with a machine like this. Great question, Gary. And there's 2 methods to this. So Gary's asking, how does the heating work with the wood or the canvas? Is it just a hover, and how long? Great question. And so a lot of the stuff, up front, there's a little bit of trial and error, but what I always have next to me when I'm doing my more specialty goods is just a heat gun. And so what I can do with that heat gun, since it is actually blowing forced air, it's very much simulating like a forced air tunnel dryer would, essentially. So what I'll do is I'll cure that. I'll probably give it about a good 30-second, maybe 45, depending on how much ink I laid down. Most of the time you'll kind of start to see, if you get a little bit of a field check, you can find out. Some of the other things I've done with wood, after I pre-treated them, I'll let them sit outside to kind of cure. I don't really want to press the wood. Sometimes you can also put it underneath of like the heat platen on your heat press there. Leave it there for maybe 15 or so just to kind of dry it as best as possible. But I definitely recommend for the curing process, a heat gun is great for that stuff. I use the same for the hats and the masks as well. Great question, Gary. Anything else, guys? Jason, hopefully that made sense with the shirts there. Oh, great question, Jason. He's asking, is there daily maintenance for this machine? Like if we don't use it for a week, do we need to do anything? And I will strongly encourage you, at least once a week, run a nozzle check. The daily maintenance really comes down to this. When you're getting ready to use the machine for the day, go ahead and shake those white inks, make sure that that thing is settled in there. If I'm doing a big run, I do encourage running a nozzle check to make sure that everything's firing perfectly right off the bat before I start knocking out my 20, 30, 40 plus shirts for the day or whatever it might need. So the other maintenance side, just since we're talking on the maintenance, is every now and again, every probably week or two, depending on volume, they do have a capping station cleaning. What that capping station is when the print head goes and reseats itself, it basically kind of suctions down there to keep the print head from getting any air in there. So what we can do is after enough use, the whiting starts to build up. So we just kind of clean that off as needed. And then over time, it is a consumable that will be replaced. That along with what they call the fabric wiper. Really simple. Fabric wiper is great. All it does is it's just a fabric that's on there, and when the print head goes to reseat, wipes it off for you. So knock on wood, I've been very happy with the maintenance on these machines. Definitely not much of a headache in my opinion.
I do have one thing on that.
Oh,
on our website, there's a little chart you can print out. And it tells you everything you need to do straight up, when to power it on, when to do the cleaning. It's all written out for you, and you can put it right beside the printer. So we did try to help you out with that.
Excellent point. Thank you, sir. Yeah, absolutely. And the setup guide, as far as some people get a little concerned with that, again, the chart is in there with the printer. It is super simple to get going. So, it's not, if you ever need us to come in and help remote, we can do that, but we can pretty much talk you through anything that you need to accomplish there. Anything else, guys? And Jason, if you ever want to dive in further, I definitely encourage you to call in. Excuse me, we can have a one-on-one chat, and I can go over anything that you need to know, top to bottom with the machine. And last but not least, guys, I do want to one more time reiterate that if you want to get into maybe some more of the basics of this, or if you need to kind of maybe revisit some of the old stuff that we talked about, imagingspectrum.com/training is going to be a great resource. We're always constantly building that. So, hopefully there's some good information on there that might kind of, get some ideas going. And then last but not least, I'm going to throw this slide up here. So definitely feel free to call 214-342-9290. You can ask for any of us, Zach, Matt. We got a great team here, and we'll do whatever we can to make sure that this is the right fit for your business. So do not hesitate to reach out. Well, I think,
Okay.
I think we're looking good here. One last thing just to kind of plug here is that if you guys do, I know Matt mentioned it earlier, but if you ever need to see it in action, we do have a demo set up here that's always ready to roll for you. If you're not local, we can always send out a sample shirt as well, and we can do any kind of digital walkthroughs that you guys may need. So just let us know what best fits your needs, and we'll accommodate that. And other than that, guys, I think we're about to sign off. So thanks so much for everyone joining. Great questions today. I really appreciate the participation. And thanks so much to Keith, Super Brain. He knows his stuff in and out. He's definitely one of my go-to resources. So if I can't figure it out for you, I'll definitely have a source for you. And then Matt, great job. Thank you so much for the return on investment. Hopefully that kind of was eye-opening for everybody a little bit. But I'll let Matt kind of close it off here.
Yeah, well, that was kind of well said. Thank you for everybody for participating today. Like I said before, if you do want to come see this printer, we are open. Our demo room is open. So happy to do some samples for you, files, whatever it might be. And we do have these printers in stock, and they're ready to go. So just call us, if that's something you want to get into. And we can talk about what it takes to do that and try to get you a good deal.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, again.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Zach. Thanks, Matt.
All right. Yeah,
thanks, guys.
thanks. See you.
Signing off.
Great class.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Russ.